There comes a moment in every person's life when they quietly ask themselves a question that nobody else hears. What if I am capable of so much more than the life I'm living today? That question is dangerous. Not because it hurts you, because if you answer it honestly, your entire life has to change. Let me tell you something. Most people are not defeated by failure. They are defeated by comfort. They slowly become comfortable with small dreams, comfortable with average effort, comfortable with making excuses that sound reasonable. Day after day, year after year, they lower the standards of their own lives until they no longer remember the dreams that once made their hearts race. Think about that for a moment. When you were a child, nobody had to teach you how to dream big. You dreamed without permission. You believed without evidence. You imagined without limits. Somewhere along the way, someone told you to be realistic. Someone laughed. Someone doubted. Someone reminded you of your weaknesses more often than your strengths. Little by little, the giant inside you became quiet. But here's something most people never understand. Your dream didn't disappear. It simply went to sleep. And today, maybe today is the day it wakes up again. I want you to imagine standing at the top of a mountain, not because you climbed it already. Because you're looking at it from the bottom, the distance looks impossible. The wind feels cold. The path looks dangerous. And that's exactly where almost everyone turns around. They don't fail. They quit before the journey even begins. The greatest tragedy isn't losing. The greatest tragedy is never discovering what was possible because fear convinced you to stay where you were. Every extraordinary achievement in human history began with someone who looked completely ordinary, someone who doubted, someone who struggled, someone who failed, someone who cried in private, someone who wanted to give up success. Doesn't belong to superhuman people. It belongs to people who keep walking after everyone else stops. I learned something years ago. The world celebrates victories. But life is built in invisible moments. Nobody applauds the student studying while everyone else is sleeping. Nobody claps for the worker learning a new skill after a 10-hour shift. Nobody notices the entrepreneur who spends months making no money while learning lessons nobody can teach in a classroom. Nobody sees the lonely mornings. Nobody sees the silent sacrifices. Nobody sees the fear hidden behind determined eyes. Yet those invisible moments, those quiet decisions, those ordinary days become extraordinary lives. Here's what most people don't understand. Success is rarely created in exciting moments. It's created on boring Tuesdays. It's created on mornings when you don't feel motivated. It's created when your alarm rings and every part of your body says, stay in bed. That's where dreams either grow or disappear forever. People love motivation. But motivation is like weather. Some days it's sunny. Some days it's raining. If your future depends on how you feel today, then your future will always be uncertain. Discipline changes everything. Discipline whispers when emotions scream. Discipline keeps moving when motivation disappears. Discipline remembers tomorrow, while emotions only care about today. Let me ask you something. How many dreams have been buried because someone waited to feel ready? How many books were never written? How many businesses never started? How many relationships never healed? How many opportunities quietly disappeared while someone kept saying, maybe next month, maybe next year, maybe when life gets easier? Life rarely gets easier. You become stronger. That's the difference. Imagine two people standing in exactly the same storm. The rain falls equally on both. The wind pushes both of them. One person complains about the weather. The other learns how to walk through it. Years later, people call one lucky. Luck had nothing to do with it. Perspective did. Courage did. Consistency did. Dream big. Not because every dream becomes reality overnight. Dream big because your dream determines the direction of your life. Small dreams produce small actions. Small actions produce small habits. Small habits create ordinary lives. But a big dream changes the way you wake up. A big dream changes the books you read. A big dream changes your conversations. A big dream changes your friendships. A big dream changes how you spend your evenings. A big dream begins to shape your identity before it ever changes your circumstances. Think about the tallest building you've ever seen. Before a single brick was laid, before workers arrived, before machines started moving, it existed inside someone's imagination. Everything you see around you was once invisible. Every company, every invention, every bridge, every masterpiece, every movement that changed history. First, it lived inside a dream. So why do people laugh at dreamers? Because dreams make comfortable people uncomfortable. Dreamers remind everyone else of the possibilities they've abandoned. Never apologize for believing in something bigger than your current reality. Reality changes. Vision creates reality. Let me tell you a story. There was a young man who worked in a factory. Every morning he woke before sunrise. Every evening he came home exhausted. His clothes smelled like metal. His hands carried the marks of hard labor. His bank account barely changed. His friends believed this was simply life. This is all there is, they said. We survive. But every night, instead of watching hours disappear in front of a screen, he spent 1 hour learning, 1 hour reading, 1 hour practicing a skill nobody around him cared about. 1 hour seemed insignificant. People laughed. What difference can 1 hour make? The first month, nothing changed. The 6th month, nothing looked different. The first year, still working, still struggling, still learning. Most people would have quit because results were invisible. But invisible doesn't mean nothing is happening. Think about a seed buried beneath the soil. For weeks, you see nothing. Does that mean growth has stopped? No. Growth is happening where impatient eyes cannot see it. That's exactly how your life works. Every page you read, every workout you finish, every promise you keep, every temptation you resist, every difficult conversation you face, every excuse you refuse to accept. Roots are growing, and one day, the world suddenly calls you an overnight success. They didn't see the years underground. They only saw the tree. Here's something worth remembering. The world often rewards what it notices. Life rewards what nobody notices. Character, integrity, consistency, patience, humility, self-control. Those qualities don't make headlines, but they build lives that last. Pain is a strange teacher. Nobody asks for it. Nobody enjoys it. Yet almost every meaningful lesson arrives carrying pain in its hands. Failure hurts. Rejection hurts. Loneliness hurts. Sacrifice hurts. But regret has a different kind of pain. Failure says, at least I tried. Regret whispers forever. What if? Imagine reaching the final chapters of your life and realizing your greatest enemy was never lack of talent. It wasn't lack of money. It wasn't lack of opportunity. It was the voice inside your own mind convincing you that tomorrow was always a better day to begin. Tomorrow is one of the greatest lies ever sold to humanity. Tomorrow steals more dreams than yesterday ever could, because yesterday is finished. Tomorrow feels endless. Today? Today is the only place where dreams become actions. Here's another truth. You don't become successful because life suddenly becomes fair. You become successful because you decide your standards will no longer depend on your circumstances. Anyone can work hard when life is easy. Anyone can smile when everything goes according to plan. Anyone can believe when evidence already exists. But the people who transform their lives, they believe before proof. They work before applause. They persist before results. And while everyone else is waiting for certainty, they are quietly building the future, one disciplined decision at a time. There is an incredible power hidden inside repeated actions. One healthy meal changes very little. One unhealthy meal changes very little. One workout seems insignificant. One missed workout also seems insignificant. One page read feels ordinary. One page ignored feels harmless. But life is never shaped by one day. It is shaped by thousands of days stacked together, one after another, until those tiny choices become your identity. And your identity begins to determine everything you think is possible. Because whether you realize it or not, every decision is casting a vote for the person you are becoming. Let me ask you something. Who are you voting for today? Not with your words, not with your intentions, with your actions, because your actions tell the truth that your excuses try to hide. Think about that for a moment. If someone watched your life for 30 days without hearing a single word from you, what would they conclude about your priorities? Would they say this is someone preparing for greatness? Would they say this is someone building a meaningful future? Or would they see someone who keeps postponing the life they secretly wish they had? That question isn't meant to make you feel guilty. It's meant to wake you up, because awareness is the beginning of transformation. The day you stop lying to yourself is the day your life begins to change. Here's something I want you to remember every morning when you open your eyes. You are not competing against the most successful person in the world. You are competing against the version of yourself that settled yesterday. Every sunrise gives you another opportunity to become someone your past would hardly recognize. The challenge is that growth asks for a price before it gives you a reward. Most people want confidence first. Life asks for courage first. Most people want certainty first. Life asks for commitment first. Most people want success before sacrifice. Life says sacrifice comes first, and success decides later whether you've earned it. That's why so many people stop too early. They're digging for gold 1 foot away. They don't know it. So they put the shovel down. Someone else comes along, one more swing, and suddenly everyone says, look how lucky they are. Luck didn't swing the shovel, Dr. Spenson's did. I met a man once who spent years believing he wasn't intelligent enough to accomplish anything extraordinary. Those words weren't born inside him. They were planted there. As a child, he heard people say, you're not the smart one. You'll never be successful. People like us don't become leaders. Imagine carrying those sentences for 20 years. Imagine hearing those voices every time you tried something new. Imagine believing your future had already been decided by someone else's opinion. One day he picked up a notebook. Just an ordinary notebook. And on the first page he wrote one sentence. My past may explain me, but it does not define me. Every morning he read it. Every night he read it. It felt strange. It felt fake. It felt impossible. But slowly something remarkable happened. His language changed. Then his choices changed. Then his habits changed. Then his friendships changed. Then his confidence changed. Then his income changed. Not because one sentence magically transformed his life, because one sentence began transforming the story he told himself. Never underestimate the stories you repeat inside your own mind. If every day you say, I'm unlucky, your brain starts searching for evidence. If every day you say, I'm always behind, your attention notices every setback. If every day you say, nothing ever works out for me, you'll overlook opportunities standing right in front of you. The mind is like fertile soil. It doesn't question the seeds. It grows whatever you keep planting. So what have you been planting lately? Fear? Doubt? Comparison? Or possibility? Here's what most people don't understand. Comparison is one of the fastest ways to destroy a beautiful future. You scroll through someone else's highlight reel, and suddenly your own progress feels invisible. You compare your first chapter to someone's 20th. You compare your beginning to another person's breakthrough. And while you're busy looking sideways, your own path quietly waits for you to walk it. There will always be someone richer, someone stronger, someone faster, someone with more experience, someone with better circumstances. If your peace depends on being ahead of everyone else, peace will never stay with you for very long. Instead, ask yourself one question. Am I becoming stronger than I was yesterday? That's a competition worth winning because life has a fascinating habit. It rewards consistency more than intensity. Anyone can be inspired for one day. Anyone can stay excited for one weekend. Anyone can make a dramatic announcement about changing their life. The difficult part isn't starting. The difficult part is continuing after the excitement disappears. Real champions fall in love with repetition. They understand something the world often overlooks.